Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 290, almost 300.
Yeah.
10 away from
I
300.
feel like we've said it's been episode 280 something for a year. That's how it's
Well,
felt.
since the beginning of 2016, it probably has
It's
been.
true.
I am Laura, also known as Lala.
I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. It is Sunday, February 28th. We're actually recording before dinner on Sunday, which is a rarity because usually we are procrastinators of the
And we wait till the
highest.
last minute.
Yeah.
On that note, because today is Sunday, I will not be in Memphis next Sunday.
Or pretty much any Sunday in March.
That's very true. Yeah, that's true. So I am kicking off my birthday month with a trip to Chicago, and so next week the show will be at least one day late, if not later. I'm thinking one day, but
Whatever it
I don't
is,
get
it'll
back
be.
in till around midnight
Hmm.
Monday morning. Kind of like 12:01 would be Monday morning, so it's gonna make
So it's going to
waking
be
up
a
at
month of really
5:30 is
rough Mondays for you.
amazing. I know. And because I'm taking off Fridays, like I cannot take, I'm taking off 2 Fridays and then I have 2 Fridays off.
Hmm.
I really can't take off more time than that. It looks super suspicious. I get 2 personal days a
Yeah.
year and I'm using them both this month. It's craziness.
Oh well.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome though. So knitting, would you like me to go first or do you want to go first?
You're welcome to, where I can, whatever's easier.
Okay. I can. I'm just knitting on a heel. So I am knitting on a heel, an afterthought heel, just a regular afterthought heel because I don't have time for shenanigans and to learn new things. So I learned other new things this week. How terrible of a art yarn spinner I am.
I, I don't think that's true. I think you just need skill refresher. That's all.
I just need practice. So there is one coil out of like 500 that looks right. Anyway, we'll get to spinning in a second. This is
Desert Vista.
Desert Vista Dye Works in the Harold's Purple Crayon colorway. It's so good that we have show notes right there. I'm knitting it on size 0. My gauge is around 7 stitches per inch on size 0. But it
Hmm.
is what it is. I have the first sock. This was the first one. The heel's going in now. So that's awesome. You know what I've taken to doing? Oh, I don't have one in here. Those sock rollers.
Yeah.
So this was a true afterthought heel. I cut a stitch and then unraveled, but I know that I cut at like 2 inches from the end on the sock roller because that's how big my feet are. They're
Mm-hmm.
10 inches long.
Yep.
So I just leave it on top of the sock roller and it gives me a nice like hard surface to cut the one stitch and unravel and pick
Oh
up.
yeah.
It's perfect. And here's the other sock, which does not have a heel and does have a bit of this light blue on the bind off. The other one does not, but I'm not ripping out a row to go back and take out that little bit of light blue. So I typically always get that little bit of light blue.
My
But
theory on that is that if they're looking that close, they're probably distracted by my hairy legs. So forget it.
it's up in my jeans, like it's 5 inches up, so I think we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so second one, first one. The goal is it's Oscars tonight.
Oh.
The goal is to, as I'm watching that, to finish the two heels so I can get these turned in tomorrow for both House Cup and the Desert Vista Dye Works knit along month thing. Although she did give a couple extra days this month,
Yeah, because
which
she's going to be out of town or something, right?
yeah, she's in Colorado at a volleyball thing for her daughter. So yeah, that's going um quite well. I had some time, a field trip this week, so a lot of this one gotten it on the field trip to the Civil Rights Museum. Um that is it for that. And then the other thing that I have going on is I have the body up to the armpit done for Julia's owl sweater.
Hmm.
So this is out of Knit Picks, Brava Bulky in like a light purple heathery colorway. which hopefully will go with a lot of what she
I'm
wears.
sure, yeah.
So it's the pattern calls for it to be 10 inches. I did 12 because I have a very tall niece. So next I am moving on to the arms. But so my 50% for my owl is done. I just need to photograph it and write all the things and get it turned in. I'll probably do that tonight. And then classes tomorrow. So those are the two things that I've been working on. I have no finished objects, so it's
Okay. Um, I was looking at our show notes because last week when I had nothing finished, I put Leslie has finished nothing because she's a loser. And this week I look at Laura and Laura's just says Laura has finished nada. And it's funny that I am very hard on myself, I guess.
You are very hard on yourself because I'm not going to say that I'm a loser because I didn't finish anything. I might say I'm a loser because of this, but not because I didn't finish anything.
Okay, so I've got two things that I'm sort of actively working on, although I haven't worked a ton on the knitting this week. The first is a sock out of a Gales Art Extreme Sock Blank, and I'm knitting this 64 stitches on size 1 2.25 millimeter needles. I did a simple slip stitch heel pattern. I did do a little bit of ribbing right here on the gusset.
I like the way that
So
looks.
we'll see if that actually helps with wearability. I can't
I
say.
don't know that it's going to help with wearability, but it is darn
Yeah,
cute.
it's just a little feature, I guess. And um, so I went to try these on to see if it made a difference in, just the way the heel like cupped the
Hmm.
sock cupped the heel. They're too narrow. I can't wear them.
Oh
I have
no.
exceptionally wide feet, so these will go to someone else. I haven't decided yet who, but I'm only a few inches past the heel, so I've still got a ways to go before I have to figure it out. So they'll go
That
to
makes
somebody.
me super
It
sad.
doesn't bother me so much. Um,
It bothers me for you.
well,
I have said sock empathy.
yeah, well, I don't know. It doesn't bother me so much. I should have realized it. I like 64 stitches on the foot, but I really need 72 on the leg.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
it is what it is. So, I I barely have made any progress since last week, maybe 2 inches or so.
There is nothing that slows down progress faster than realizing something you meant for you does not fit
Yeah,
you.
and it goes in timeout for a week or a year or decade, whatever.
Until stash dash.
My other needle
And you need
craft.
one thing to finish for stash dash to meet the
By
goal.
the way, people who are already putting stuff away in Stash Dash, y'all are crazy. Like, I admire that
The
you're
forethought.
looking forward to being able to cross off like a 5-digit number of yardage. Like, that's awesome, but you're a little crazy, just a little bit. Um, and we'll talk more about Stash Dash and what it is.
When we're like 2 months out.
Yeah, closer to
We're
the
not that
spring.
far. We're like 3 months
Yeah,
out.
we'll be talking about it in the next month or so, probably. So the
After
other,
craft all the things is over.
yeah, yeah.
I can't do multiple Cal thoughts at once.
Yeah, I barely remember to participate in the
My
ones we
brain's like a
do.
hamster. It's got that one wheel. You throw in some other wheels, we're done.
So aside from knitting, I've been doing some crochet this week. Um, and it's been a little bit frustrating. So I'm making this Shoop the Sheep, which is an African flower hexagon thing, and it's by Heidi Bears. She's got several different animals. I think the hippo's the most popular one, but she's got like a
Oh,
pony, which a bunch of people have turned into a unicorn. She's she's got like dinosaurs and lots of really
but does she
cool.
have a narwhal?
She does no, she doesn't have a narwhal or
Oh,
a whale that you could turn into a narwhal.
Rebecca Danger has a narwhal pattern.
I imagine she does.
She has a new ninja pattern too.
I saw that.
I know she has a narwhal pattern because I knit it for one of my library helpers a couple of years ago.
Well, I have done more disassembling than assembling on this thing. So I finished the body, All
Oh,
right.
look at that. Is that its booty right
This
there?
is its booty. Um, and these are its legs, and this is the octagon. And the thing is,
She needs shape remediation.
she's got really great directions on how to assemble it, but you're constantly switching between pentagons and hexagons, and occasionally a septagon, and then you've got the octagon, and then once you get into the head pieces that are solid colored, you got squares and hexagons and pentagons
Right here, geometry is
and
your
a
friend.
heptagon. But the thing is, I keep assembling this freaking thing wrong. And it's not the designer's fault. I would like to absolve her of all guilt because it is not. So I'll give you an example of the assembly.
I cannot wait for this.
So, just as an example, she shows you how to put it together. The number in the middle of the shape tells you how many sides that shape has.
That is so clever.
So this is a
All you have
hexagon.
to do is count.
These are pentagons, right? And then these lines tell you, okay, so this part of the hexagon is going to join right here, yellow with yellow,
Look at
red
that.
with red,
That's
right?
amazing.
So it is not the designer's fault. The designer is very clear. I, however, am not. So I would get to a point where you first assemble the belly and the feet. And then once you do that, you assemble basically the first row all the way around. Except it's not that simple. You do part of this one and then part of this one and then you join this one and it brings the two together. So you're constantly dropping yarn, picking up new yarn, and joining it. And
so if you were to do this again as you crochet, as you crochet the pieces, maybe put them in like plastic bags that have like the numbers of the sides written on the side.
I think if I were to do this again, I would only allow myself to work on it like an hour a day.
Okay.
Because the
That's
longer you look
legit.
at it, the less you pay attention to whether it's a hexagon or a pentagon. And then you get 3 rows up and you realize that you can't make it work because this needs 6 sides, not 5. And you have to rip all of this and all of these these things around it out in order to make it work. So where I am right now is
Time out.
I haven't worked on it since last night when I realized the problem. So where I am right now is that this is a pentagon and it should be a hexagon and it's not.
Oh, no.
And the bite of it is that I was getting ready, you know, I had like 2 more left of these colored ones before I started the head. And I ended up with an extra hexagon and I'm like, but this requires a pentagon. That's crazy. I must have just done it wrong. So then I created a new pentagon and put it in. It doesn't, it's not what goes there. So in order to remove this, I have to take all these off. I have to undo this one and this one and this one and this one in order to take that off. And it's not that it's impossible. It's just a pain. So my little headless sheep is in timeout. Although I mean, it's cute. It's coming out cute.
It's super cute.
But it's
How
in
did you end
timeout
up
for the
stuffing
moment.
it?
Huh?
How did you end up stuffing it?
Some fleece. I just used some fleece that I had picked up to try.
You didn't put it in something else?
Just stuck it in there. Because
Is it dirty fleece or clean fleece?
No, it's clean. No. If fleece comes into my house, even if I'm not ready to like card it and stuff, I try to clean it right away. I don't like to have dirty fleece in my house.
You are so much of a better person than I am.
Well, but of course I can somehow ignore the little tumbleweeds of pet hair. But dirty fleece is just...
Tumbleweeds of pet hair is like a lifestyle.
Seriously. And we've thought about getting
Roby?
The little robot vacuum thing.
Robies.
But
I hear though if you have like a cat that vomits,
yeah, it likes to spread the love all over the house through tracking through it. So
yeah, I couldn't do that. Like I would have to be home to watch it, and that kind of defeats the purpose of things like that.
Yeah, so no, we're not doing that. So that's all of the knitting. I haven't had a chance to spin this week. It has been so I work in IT, but somehow our department is responsible for filing certain parts of the taxes for 40 plus properties throughout the country.
Oh my.
And I'm not an accountant and I have no desire to be an accountant, but somehow I'm still stuck with this crap. So it's been super busy at week, and then I go on call on Wednesday, which is awesome. So
that's fun.
Yeah. I also have a child who will be a teenager on Friday.
That's true. Oh my
and
goodness.
who's now tall enough to look me straight in the eyes.
As he tells you off.
Oh no, he hasn't quite reached that. I realize that I can be a smart aleck to mom's face yet. Oh, he'll huff and puff as he walks away, but
The under the breath mumbling though.
for me,
Like
it's I know, mom.
my coworkers and I were listing like pet peeves because every teacher has
Oh
like their pet
yeah.
peeves. Like some just like the gum thing just drives them crazy, or the shirt being untucked because we have a very strict dress code at my school. So my coworker and I were discussing it, and his big thing was, well, we were talking about other people's pet peeves, not ours, and then I was like, it goes lying and then mumbling under the breath for me. Like those two combined with an eye roll. Because if you're mumbling, you got to do the eye roll. Like,
Little
yeah.
one.
But lying is definitely like number one on my list, especially when I know you're lying.
Mm-hmm. And
Like,
you know that I know you're lying.
yeah. So we're just going to pretend. Oh my gosh. You'll get in so much more trouble with me. Like, a lot of things I'll just let go. Like, don't do it again. Warning.
Mm-hmm.
But then you lie to me and it just anyway, pet peeves. So I do have some spinning. So I have a story of woe before I really get into my spinning.
Whoa.
Whoa. So I have, oh, I should have brought it in here. I have the brand new Acreworks Lendrum Bulky bobbin because I made it off the tester list. And the first one was supposedly delivered last Saturday. So I saw the delivery and it wasn't there. And people post people are people too. And sometimes they make mistakes. And so I waited a couple days. And then it was still not delivered. So I go to this little awesome uh post office that is technically not my post office because I live in South Haven and this post office is in Nisbet, but there's never a line.
Yeah.
And the people there are super sweet. And I know them by name and I know all about their kids and their
Yeah.
spouses and I know their stories. We
Yeah.
got it down. Also, Jerry Lee Lewis's housekeeper picks up his mail there. So
Just
that's
FYI.
if you get mail from me, it's mailed from Jerry Lewis's
Housekeeper's post office.
well, post office. It's his post office
Oh,
too.
that's right.
She lives in Nesbitt.
That's right.
She's going to pick up his mail, his fan mail, because he's got a PO box there. Anyway, so I'm like, hey, what do I do in this instance? Because I don't know. And so they take the tracking number and the scanners, the UPS trucks, like USPS trucks, when they scan your packages, it actually there's a GPS locator on there. So I could see exactly where they scanned my package, which is delivered, which was not my house. It
Was it
was
close
like,
to your house?
no, it wasn't even on my street. So, after multiple conversations with with the South Haven post office, which is a huge post office,
It's like the
and
big
there's
one in that
always like
metro area.
30 people,
Yeah.
yeah, 30 people in line, and it's chaos when you go in there. And I realized that other people have bigger post offices, and I'm whining for no apparent reason. But anyway, the package is gone, and there's nothing they can do. Um, and they lied to me at one point. So on Saturday, the postmaster called me and said, well, the deliver post person has been all over your street delivering mail. And as he's been delivering mail today, he's been totally looking for your package. And he's back now and he didn't find it. And we're so sorry. And so I'm like, well, if he's been to our street, like my mail's out in my. Aiden, who's amazing of Acreworks, had sent me a backup one because I was like, here's what's going on. And he just sent me another one because he's amazing. But I'm like, my mail should be here. If he's been all up and down my
Yeah.
street and he's back at the post office and he's delivered all the mail and looked for this package, my mail should be here. Nope. 2 hours later,
Yeah.
mail delivered. So don't, like, again, pet peeve, lying. Like, so anyway, I have a brand new, on the bright side, I did get the new Acreworks bobbin, so I've been plying all the stuff that I was waiting to ply. So that's fun. So the first thing are the bats from Joanna Spring.
Hmm.
This is a two-ply of a whole bunch of stuff.
Silk
So
oil, Falkland, Merino.
Yep. BFL, Cordale, Falkland Merino, and Silk Noil. And each bat was 2 ounces, 2 and 7/8 ounce. So almost 3 ounces. And I spun it to like a worsted weight, and it's floofy. And you can see the silk noil creates a lot of texture. It makes me super happy.
I like floofy yarns.
It's fun. So this is 240 yards of a two ply. And I think I am going to do a Pearl Ridge, which is a cowl by Stephen West that's
Mm.
got pearl ridges in it. I did one a couple years ago out of a bat, an enchanted knoll bat that Lynn spun for me. So it's a big long cowl, super easy. It'll show off the texture well. And I can snuggle. It'll be like I'm snuggling Joanna Spring
Oh.
and her sheepies. So that's the first thing that's done. And then I have a tale of woe.
Well,
So these were better, my coils, and then I gave them a bath and took out the twist that needed to hold them together.
no.
So I did have some good coils. Like this one was pretty darn good, but now it's kind of sad and misshapen. I have a lot of misshapen coils. So this was the thick and thin that when I was doing this, I was originally plying it with a single that I had spun, and the single kept breaking, which is not good.
Hmm.
It was very frustrating. So then I went to the Volmiza, and it was working a lot better. But after I gave it its bath, and it's windy out today, and I let it dry outside, they're more like poofy than anything else because they lost the twist. And there's no recovering from that. So they're poofs. It'll be perfect for weaving with, or just doing like a row and then like 10 rows and then like
Yeah.
another row and a hat or
Just for
something.
some occasional texture.
Yeah, so, but it's very sad. This one was good too. That was a good one. But now I know not to, I don't know how you would set this yarn without it going, because you want to get rid of the extra twist in the
I think you're
smaller
right, though. I think
sections.
we were talking before we started recording. I think it's just that the thick part of your thick and thin needed a little more twist.
Yes, because so you can get like this thick part, you can get less, you can add a lot of twist to it when you ply it, and then it makes it, the more twist you add, the more like um the skinny it makes it because it's got twist. But then when you go to shove it up, it won't shove because it's got too much twist. So I think I need skinnier, thick bits. So it was fail from the start, but it'll be fine. And then the last thing that I have,
You have a lot of spinning this week.
I had all those singles that I've been hoarding. So
Oh,
two
yeah.
thirds of this was done. And then I spun the third bobbin at knit night the other night, which is at my house, which is perfect because then I get to spin.
You don't have to get anything together. It's all just.
So this is the three ply of Into the World. El Tremento, which means sunset. And it is around 300 yards of a three ply. And it's Falkland, which I could totally use for socks, but it's not super washed, but I could still totally use it for socks. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's pretty.
It is pretty. I like it a lot.
It's very barber pulley. The blue, which did not show out a lot in the braid, totally kind of dominates the skein. So that's always
Yeah, it
interesting.
looks almost purple to me.
Yep, when I hold it back. So there's a lot of, you can see from my t-shirt, there's a lot of navy blue that pops out. Would be good for hats. I could definitely, it's probably a DK weight. I could get some super cute hats out of it. I don't know.
I like it. I think it's pretty.
I think it's pretty too. I could do a cowl of some kind. I could do lots of things with that one. So,
You could do
everything,
brioche with like a solid alternate.
ooh, everything was spun on Lendrums and at the Lendrum, and everything was plied on the bulky flyer, which, by the way, can fit like easily 10 ounces. Like this didn't even fill up half the bobbin. Easily 10 ounces. So I have some sweater lots that I feel like I should spin next month so I can ply them and really put it through its paces. But it's been really good so far. Been enjoying it. Now I put on the regular head. The Lundrum, you can switch the heads to different heads. So now it's back. It's not on the super fast. It's on the, like the fast flyer right now. Because I am about to spin this is what's up next for the winner of the
Patreon.
yeah, Patreon. I'm gonna spin this Desert in Bloom Southern Cross from last November as a two-ply, I think. So, I do reserve the right if it comes out super crappy, like the
To choose something else.
to choose something else to give someone something nice. And if I do that, I'll let you pick your colors for sure. For sure. So that is it. That's my like I actually altogether, this is my pound of spinning for this month. Whoosh. I had that green too. So I made it.
That's awesome.
So that makes me happy too. And I'll probably spend some tonight because I got that chair that Leslie recommended, that someone else recommended to her.
Yeah.
So and it's got like a place for my Diet Dr. Pepper.
Oh, yeah, it's got like all kinds of crazy spots it's got like, pouches and net areas, and it's got a carabiner to clip your keys on.
You
It's
can
got
even
a little
get an
table that
umbrella
folds out.
it.
Do what?
You can buy an umbrella for it.
Yeah.
So
I'll make a note.
I'm excited because that can now go with me when I have logging duty as well.
Gonna make a note to add the chair to the show notes because people will ask.
Yeah, it was in the show notes a little while ago.
Yeah, I'll go back and look.
So that is it for me for spinning. I'm hoping to get some other things. I have 3 things in progress on other wheels. I have the blanket spinning that is hanging out on the Ladybug from the patchwork kit. I have the pencil rollags, which I really need to get done for
Pierogi ones. Yeah.
The wool pierogi, and I know like that's who I'm staying with in Chicago. And when I stay with Becca, I'm like, just fill my suitcase and let me know how much I owe you because she's got such gorgeous bats and rollags, and now she's got the Christmas light core spinning kits, and I just need to fill my suitcase.
Yeah,
So.
she always has she's got the way her brain works to put this stuff together is really interesting.
And everything has a story, which I really appreciate. But that's it for me for spinning. We do have a book to review.
Wait, you skipped my embroidery.
Oh, I totally forgot about your and it's in like a different font.
You skipped it.
It's in a different font and it's bigger on the show notes, like it has more emphasis and importance.
So I've been working on so there's a quote that I really like by Bill Murray. And
it's got profanity in it. So if
profanity
you're little
warning. If profanity really bothers you, you should probably skip ahead by a couple minutes. When you see us start holding up the book, then you can.
There you go.
Listen, but yeah. So there is a quote by Bill Murray, and I've been trying to find the source. Like, was it a movie, an interview? What was it? I'm not able to find the source. So if you know, please tell me. But the quote by Bill Murray is, profanity. I warned you. So it says,
I feel like there should be like green lights.
Content advisory. Life is so damn short. For fuck's sake, just do what makes you happy. And it's something I've had pinned on. Like I have different boards on Pinterest I've got my feminism boards and my body positive boards and my just quotes that I like board. And then I started a quotes I want to embroider board.
Oh.
And so I've been looking for a gift for a friend of mine, and this is what I decided to do, was to embroider that quote.
That's very fitting for her, too.
So I've got, I chose this cotton, which is almost like a batik, but it's really thin. And I was worried because in order to embroider, you have to keep the fabric under tension. And I was worried about like breaking the weave because it's so thin. It wasn't meant for embroidery, so it's not a very thick weave. So I put some
stabilizer.
Yes, it's not called. It's fusible.
Interfacing.
Interfacing. Thank you. That's the word.
Yes, the non-sewer knows something.
So I put that on before I started. And then I just played with fonts in Google Docs and moved stuff around. And then once I got it the way I wanted, I traced it over the fabric. So this is what it looks like. It's still like wrinkly because I just took it out of the
Did you
hoop.
use like a water soluble pen?
Yes, I used and you'll see that in some places, like you can see the blue peeking through under the words. And once I wash it, that'll go away because I just used the water soluble tracing pen or marking pen. So this is what it ended up looking like. I just sort of designed the words the way I liked them, picked colors I liked, and put it all together. So I think it turned out nicely. I've got to wash it, wash it, basically soak it, and then lay it out flat so the wrinkles will come out. I may have to steam it a little, and then it needs to go and get framed. So it'll have to go to the framer. I've got several things that have to go to the framer, so it'll go at the same time. But yeah, you can see the blue under the
Just a smidge.
pink words, but it'll come out once it's.
I like how that's got the angled.
Yeah, I'm not really great at embroidery. I'm still sort of learning it, so I used a bunch of different stitches. I used like simple back stitches here. I used the chain stitches and stem stitches. There's more back stitching. And here I just did outlining in stem stitch, and then I wanted to fill, but I couldn't do satin stitch to fill, which is when you like totally fill up an area with the thread, because this fabric is so thin.
Yeah.
That if I pierced it too close to another hole, then they would combine and it would just kind of come apart. So
gotcha.
So this,
I think it looks really good, dude.
I like the way it come out. I have to get it framed, but I like it. If anybody wants a digital copy of the thing, just email me. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's.
Let's talk about email versus PMs for a second.
Oh yes, for me especially. Do you want me to talk about it?
Yeah, because this is your gig. Like, I tend to answer my PMs in a not timely manner.
Yeah, so if you are trying to contact me and you would like an answer, this is super cocky of me and I apologize. I am never going to catch up with Ravelry private messages. It's never going to happen. Right now I'm at 261. And
are you declaring bankruptcy?
I am. I'm declaring bankruptcy. I have got a note on the homepage of my profile that basically just says, if you need me and you need me to answer you, email me. And you can email me at leslie@theknitgirls.com. You don't call me les@gmail.com. And all goes to one place.
Yep.
And I am pretty diligent about keeping my email as close to zero as humanly possible. Over the weekend, I let it accumulate. It's up to like 17, but on Monday, I'll clear all that out. So if you need something from me and you need it quickly, or you need me to actually respond, please email me, because I'm never going to be able to answer everything on Ravelry. It's a hopeless cause. And I apologize if you've got something out there waiting on me to answer you.
And I'm always backlogged on Ravelry because I cannot access it during work hours. Yeah. And when I get home after staring at a computer for 8 hours a day, the last thing I want to do is look at another computer. So I tend to, Saturday mornings, I get my coffee. So it might be a week, 2 weeks before I reply, but I try to.
Yeah, you do.
I'm better with email. And
yeah, I'm better with email too, because I can access it really easily from any of my devices. So
I need to put a note on there for pattern questions to email me, because I feel bad because if people send me a Rav mail, I don't get it. So it takes a longer period of time, which if it's a pattern question, I want to answer you as quickly as humanly possible.
Yeah.
So that being said, we have a book to review.
Yes, we do. So this is Free Spirit Knits by Anne Podlazak. 20 knitted garments and accessories inspired by the Southwest. Southwestern
And
United States.
this was sent to us for review from Interweave,
Hmm.
F&W Media. It retails for $26 in the US and $29 in Canada.
Yep.
And it's definitely northern New Mexico inspired,
Right.
for sure.
Um, it's I would say it's almost half garments and half accessories.
Yeah, it's split pretty evenly. There are two men's sweaters in here. The
Hmm.
rest are for the ladies, no kids' garments. The very first sweater is this cover sweater,
Yeah, the
which,
aspen sweater,
yep,
which goes from 34 1/4 inches up to 53 inches.
I would make it a little bit longer for me, but I do like the lace panels. There's two lace panels that run down the front and then
Hmm.
lace panels on the sleeves. It is knit out of Brooklyn Tweed Loft, so a fingering weight yarn
Yeah,
that's spun woolen.
I like the
That's
panel on the back.
Yeah, oh, and I forgot to mention the panels on the back. Nice clear charts, nice schematics. She actually has a little sidebar feature called Design Notebook. So, and it says this project is a women's cardigan sweater with waist shaping for a tailored silhouette. The sweater is knitted in one piece from the bottom up to the armholes. So, if you're looking through this book, you can look at the design notebook sections
To get a
and
quick
really see the
summary.
construction, a summary for the construction for sure.
There is no information on ease, even though it does tell you that this particular garment is a 36-inch garment. It doesn't give you the model's bust size, so you can't compare. Um, as far as I'm aware, it doesn't give you ease on any of the garments. I'll correct that if I find that to be untrue as we go through, but I looked through it and I'm pretty sure it doesn't give you ease.
There are 6 pictures of the sweater from
Hmm.
all different angles, including a close up of the button band. So, really nice section for finishing as well, and detail shots for the finishing.
Yeah. I actually like the Grand Canyon coat. It's not something I would typically go for. It goes from 31 inches to a 50-inch bust. It is
It's a
almost a
longer piece.
duster.
Yeah.
So it's got color work. It's knit flat. Um,
It is knit out of Dreaming Colored Classy, so worsted weight. That's got some variety. I think they've redone their colors and retired some colors, so you might not be able to get the original colors that this was done in. I love that Chinatown apple that the coat's knit off.
yeah,
I've
that.
used it a bunch of times. That
Hmm.
reddish with the variegation. It's so pretty. Nice schematics.
It would be a warm piece.
It would be, for sure. And it's going to have a lot of drape because it's a superwash merino
Hmm.
that's not going to have, in the larger sizes especially, it's a top-down
Yeah,
raglan
the heavier
style.
it is, the more it's going to pull
It's
and
going to
stretch.
pull quite a bit. And you definitely would not want to use heavy buttons with it either because of that pulling and stretching. Um, so definitely swatches are going to lie a little bit on this one
Hmm.
in the larger sizes because of the weights, for sure.
I like the Three Sisters shawl. It's knit in a fingering weight, three skein, so it's over 1,200 yards. It is,
It's really pretty.
yeah, it's 51 inches across and 18 inches deep. It's got several different textures going on.
And it almost looks like it's raglan shaped. I'm pretty sure it's got like a raglan shape to it.
Yeah, it almost looks like it's got like a collar sort of at the top if you look at the
It's got
neck
an
of it.
attached edging for sure. You see that attached edging where it goes the different
Hmm.
direction in that close up picture? I'm not seeing a schematic
Yeah, I don't
unless
see
I
a
missed it.
schematic
No
either.
schematic, so you kind of have to,
I mean, it's a triangular top-down shawl,
yeah.
but it does have a little bit of that different neckline, so I would be interested to see what that looks like stretched out. But it
Mhm.
does have a lot of great texture going on
You
for
know,
it.
it definitely is raglan shaped, so it's got a 4.6
And it references, it's the Three
point.
Sisters
Yeah,
shawl, which actually
6 point.
references a planting method of the way that they grow corn, beans, and like squash or pumpkin plants where they kind of spread out. And how
Yeah.
the three plants grow together and help each other. So it's I like that
Cool.
it's got sort of a story behind it like that.
They all have stories behind the names for the most part in this
Hmm.
book. I like the Snowbowl Hoodie, which is a cabled hoodie with the inset zipper.
I like that a lot as well.
It is sized from 38 up to 54. Nice sizing on this book,
Yeah, I agree.
which I appreciate. Out of Green Mountain Spinnery, New Mexico Organic,
Yeah, it's a DK
which
weight.
I believe is a woolen spun as
Mm-hmm.
well. Um, just nice smaller cable detail along the zipper bands, but larger on the sleeves and the front end than a huge motif on the back.
Right.
It basically does what the first sweater does in lace and cables
Mm-hmm.
on this one with a hood. Which it would be easy to change the neckline on that one for sure. It is raglan shaped on the sleeves. Lots of raglans in this book. Um, but really, really pretty overall.
It doesn't give a ton of information. It assumes a lot, as far as you knowing how to do certain things. Like the information in regards to adding the zipper is a 4-word sentence. So in the
Yeah.
zipper. So, I mean, it assumes that you have the ability to reach out for other resources for
Mm-hmm.
items like that. So,
Definitely. Then there's the Tres Flores
mm-hmm.
shawl, which is really pretty. It uses different colors of a same yarn, and each stitch pattern is different per color, which is pretty. It is out of Jameson and Smith 2-ply jumper weight, which is a fingering weight Shetland wool. It is a pie-shaped shawl, a semicircular pie, where it increases as it goes down. Which works well with the colorway and the motif changing features. And it's got a little garter band at each change as well to distinguish between the two. It would be very easy to make bigger as well
Yeah.
because of the pie shaping. For sure.
I like the San Juan sweater. This is a men's cardigan. It is
It's
sized.
like it's like the fourth shirt he is on.
Yeah, he's layered. 45 and a quarter inch chest up to 67 and a quarter inch chest.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it tells you what the sweater shown measures, but it doesn't give you any information about the model's measurements, so it's hard to make that sort of comparison. It's got an interesting slip stitch pattern with multiple colors, although you're only holding one color at a time, so you don't have to do Fair Isle or anything, which is nice. I don't think it's fitted exceptionally well to the model, although
No, I think it's way too big.
yeah, I think that's more of a photographer problem than anything else. But yeah, you can see even like the buttons aren't quite catching in the right way, and it's sort of hanging off of him. But that's not necessarily the designer's issue. It's more
No.
of a staging issue.
I really like the Santa Fe wrap, which let me find a good picture, is a rectangular wrap. It starts on one end, you knit to the center, you start on the other end, knit to the center, and the center is grafted together.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of interesting detail and stitches,
Yeah, it's got a
mosaic
mosaic
stitches.
pattern. Yeah, so again, you're only holding one color at a time.
Yep, and
Even
it's
though
out
you've
of a
got this.
DK weight, so it would go fairly quickly.
Yeah.
It's out of Woolly Wonka fibers, DK.
Mm-hmm.
So nice clear chart with the slip stitches shown as well. Really pretty. And then there's the churro sheep cowl, which I like because it's got sheep. It reminds me of the Kate Davies sheep patterns. Yeah. This uses fingering weight yarn, a Shetland fingering from Elemental Effects, and size 3 needles. It's really, really cute. I would maybe add it's turning under quite a bit on the side, so I might add some more garter.
Yeah.
A little bit of a deeper garter to keep it from turning in on itself quite so much, or a moss stitch would be pretty as well. Because it's something that you want to show the right side. I might actually eliminate one of the, like that motif right there.
Yeah,
and just
swap
work
it for
garter a little bit more.
I like the Arizona Spring sweater. It's a sleeveless pullover. It's knit in the round. It's got corrugated ribbing on the sleeves and the hem.
And it almost has like a gradient effect to the corrugated ribbing.
Yeah, I think that's you're switching colors in the yarn in order to accomplish that, but it's still a clever idea.
Uses
It's
Jameson and Smith 2-ply jumper weight. So
mhm,
Shetland again, fingering weight yarn.
29 3/4 inch chest to 48 1/4 inch chest. So I would have to make modifications in order for it to fit me. But I do like the motifs around the yoke on the yoke, and I like the short sleeves on it as well. I think that that's a piece you can get a lot more wear out of than you could a full long sleeve wool sweater.
I lied. There's a third guy's sweater. There's a cabled sweater, and there
Mm.
was also a yoked sweater that we didn't show, but there are three guys' garments in here. Again, it's oversized quite a bit on the model. It reminds me of like the 80s oversized sweaters,
Yeah.
just on the fit of the model, not on the construction at all.
Yeah, this one's
Um,
got sort of a fisherman feel to it with all of
yeah,
the cables. But it does have a lot of other textures happening too. It's got like a double moss stitch, the main center cabled panel, and it's got some very southwestern looking texture patterns on the outer edge of the main body.
there's a really pretty shawl in here that's got some intricate beadwork.
Chaco
So
Canyon.
it's striped, and then there's beads at the bottom, which are really pretty. That uses a fingering weight Sweet Georgia yarns in her Silk Crush. It is constructed as like a half hexagon, semicircular, and then
Yeah,
the beads, which is very intricate and take like 6 charts to
yeah.
accomplish.
Um,
So yeah,
and so
there's a
they
better
make a
picture.
pattern in the
Hmm.
bottom of the shawl. I think the pattern's almost lost though.
It's
Um,
hard to. I need to read a little bit more to see what it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be like cave paintings almost. It's building motifs. So it's these historical buildings that were
I don't know. I
uh,
think that the
beaded.
size of the
Oh,
beads
constellations
versus
and
the
star
size of the
patterns. Yeah.
yarn, I think they're too close together, and it just makes it difficult to sort of understand what you're looking at. I do like the way that it's integrated. I just
Hmm.
think that the proportions might be off just a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I do like the Monument Valley sweater. This I think is second to last in the book. It's 31 1/2 inch to 56 inch chest. Um, it's got, this is a slip stitch pattern, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And so you're only ever using one
That's really
color at a
pretty.
time. So, and the whole body is knit in pieces
Hmm.
versus in the round, and the I like the loops on the buttons too. I think that's a
I like the
nice,
ribbing on the sides is very flattering.
yeah. It's got the inset ribbing in the in between the front and back panels, which I think is a good idea. And the sleeves are also a solid color, so you get a
And
little
almost
bit
a
of slip
shawl
stitch and a lot of
cardigan.
color.
Yep. Almost a shawl collar on
Hmm.
it. So that is Free Spirit Knits. It's definitely one that you want if you, especially if you like more Southwest type motifs. It would definitely
Yeah,
be
I think
one
she
that I
hit the
would
nail
check
on the
out.
head with that. She definitely is
Oh
in
yeah.
that genre. You just would want to check and make sure that the designs are something that would work for you.
Hmm.
And I would probably check out some of the patterns on Ravelry as well, just to see how some
Yeah.
of the other items came out. My main critique would be that there's no information on ease in there. And for some of the more unique shaped items, I would like a schematic. But
Yep.
aside from that, I think that it's got a lot
It's
of.
really a nice
Um,
overall feel and a
mhm.
nice variety and different yarns used as well.
Yeah, I agree.
And flattering weights of yarn for the area. Nothing like super heavy,
Right.
nothing heavier than a worsted.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about the Southwest, where you probably don't need much more than a
Yeah.
worsted. We have a question for Leslie
Okay.
from C. Marshall. I'm going to read it and then I'll stop after each question and you can answer. So it's all about your Vivid blanket, which is behind you on the chair.
Okay. Well, that's handy.
I made sure it was right behind you before.
Oh.
So, you've made your Vivid blanket out of Barocco
So this is
vintage.
Vivid by Tin Can Knits.
Yep. And here are the questions, okay? In a very recent episode, I noticed Leslie's vivid blanket displayed behind her. I don't recall her showing the finished item previously, but I may have missed the episode. Please forgive me and referred back to the proper episode. I have no idea.
I don't know. I would
Did
just
you
go on
block?
our website and type in the word vivid in the search box and hope for the
It'll
best.
totally pop up. But also, do you remember, did you block each square individually?
Yes.
Okay. What method did you use to connect the squares? Did you
Um,
crochet or do whip stitch?
I did. Oh God, what did I do? I did not crochet them together. I seamed them, I think. No, I did crochet them together with a slip stitch.
That's like, oh, um,
So, like,
do you remember if that was in the tutorial or
I
if
do
it
not
was,
remember. It probably was because Tin Can is very thorough with their directions. So it might have just been listed as an option, but I'm pretty sure that it was in there.
and then she talks about how single crochet is her preferred method for granny square afghans, as
Yeah,
the
this
rich
is the
showing on the
same way
front is
essentially.
decorative but flattens after repeated washing. So she's two-thirds done with her vivid. Yay, go
Cool.
you. And she just had those recap questions for you. Now
Yeah,
you have another blanket on the needles. Are you going to crochet that together as well?
it
Your
depends.
log
So the
cabins?
other blanket I have on the needles is the it's by Kay Gardner mitered crosses,
Uh-huh.
and I'm not completely certain how I'm going to put that together yet. I'll probably look at the other patterns or the other projects that have been done and see how other people did it because the edges, it's almost like a raw edge because it's just mitered garter
Uh-huh.
squares. So I'm not really certain how I'm going to do that yet.
I picked up stitches and did 3 needle bind offs.
Mm. I don't know. I haven't decided.
That's how I did that. So
It's a good
anyway, for
question. I'll probably go
Reese's
out
giant
there, sort by the most helpful project, and steal somebody else's idea.
there you go. You've been reading a ton, and I have not been reading it all, so I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
I'm reading at work, The Apothecary by Meili Malloy. It is the first in a trilogy. It's got a very interesting premise. It's a kid's book. It is about a girl whose parents are in show business, and it takes place in the 1950s. And they're accused of being communists, so they flee the country and go to England before, like, they know the people are coming for them, and that like their friend has given them up. Um, and so it touches briefly on McCarthyism, which is not something that's typically touched upon a
Mm-hmm.
whole lot in kids lit. So they flee the country, they end up in England, and when she's in England, it's post World War II. England's still recovering, like early 50s. And she goes to an apothecary, and he gives her an elixir to cure her of her homesickness. So that's how she first meets this guy. And she goes to school where it's, typical school, middle school fiction. She has to wear a uniform, and she doesn't get along, and she meets a boy, and it turns out that he's the son of the apothecary, and he's very into thinking that the Russians are spying on um they're doing like a dead drop type thing in the park where someone's leaving a newspaper folded
Right.
in someone else's. So he spies on them as he plays chess and invites her along. And they follow the spy, and he ends up going to his father's shop. And his father ends up being kidnapped. But he leaves this book in their care. They're actually below, and they hear the Germans coming for him. And he leaves this book, and it's real recipes of things to like make you invisible or
Oh.
be able to fly. So there's a magic element that comes into play as well. So the kids go on a mission well, they trust their Latin teacher with the information. Turns out that he's,
A Russian spy.
and that was not a wise move, and they end up getting put in jail. And when they're in jail, they end up escaping, and they take a boy named Pip with them, which is very Dickinson
Mm-hmm.
Pip. Like, he's a street urchin who knows how to thieve and all that. And now they're on a mission to rescue his father. And that's as far as I've gotten. But it's interesting because the whole time the narrator is the girl, and she's telling you, I've actually forgotten all of this, and this was what was written in my diary.
Oh.
And there's like um elixirs to keep you from talking, from keeping you from remembering stuff, to be invisible, to turn into birds. The front cover has birds on it. And the cover like has never really drawn me in, but I've heard good things about this book, so I picked it up. But I think they lost me with the magic. I don't know. I was super into it when it was McCarthyism and all that, but the magic's just kind of, I don't know, which is so weird for me because I am like the
I was gonna
fantasy
say.
guru. I love fantasy, except for time travel. But I might be adding apothecaries to the
I
list
like
of,
Apothecary
I don't,
tales, but
yeah, like I do dig Snape and the whole like potions master thing. I don't know why I don't
it's
know.
okay that you don't like a book.
No, it's
Like
totally
nobody's
okay.
gonna
But
punish
I
you.
like how it's like I do like the narrator's voice and the way it's written. Like
Hmm.
I like how she describes things. It's just the plot's losing me a little bit and I can't see my kids really digging it. It was a junior library guild selection years and years ago, so I just picked it up, but we'll see. I haven't like completely discounted it because I'm a huge fan of if this book stinks, you put it down.
Yeah,
You give it like 50 pages and after 50 pages, done.
you're so much better than me because I've gotten so snobby, and mainly because with Kindle
Well,
Unlimited,
because you read Kindle Unlimited free stuff that
right,
doesn't have editors, it's
right.
self-published.
And so
It
sometimes
might
by the
only be
first
50 pages.
paragraph,
So,
I'm like, yeah, I'm done. This isn't gonna work for me.
no, I'm totally snobby about Kindle Unlimited self-published stuff. I give stuff that's like been actually published and edited more of a chance, I
Right.
should say. 50 pages. No.
I That's fair. So for me, I finished Form and Function by Sarah King. I really liked it. It does end on sort of a cliffhanger because it's the first in a series. And it'll probably be 2 years before the next one comes out because she's in the middle of like 7 different series. And she
Oh, the new
puts,
Brandon Sanderson came
right,
out.
I haven't read that one yet,
Have
but
you bought
it's
it?
on the list. No,
Okay.
it's on my list, but I haven't read it yet. Because I have to get it in a format that both Kobe and I can read it. So I'll probably have to actually buy the paper book.
Mm-hmm. It's
And
not
I
that
just
expensive
Well,
on
no, I
Kindle
just haven't been to a
or on
bookstore.
Amazon.
Yeah, I probably should do that.
Just order it on Amazon. I have like little eighth graders. They read Steelheart now's book selection, and they are like nagging me constantly. They don't
Oh,
understand that, like, as you know, a school librarian, it takes time. Like, I have to place an order with
mm-hmm.
an established code. I can't just order books on Amazon,
Yeah.
but I'm just gonna pay for it out of my own money and order it from
If they're
them.
that excited about it,
I do that a lot,
it's hard not
though.
to. I mean, for
It's
me,
really hard
any
to
kid reading a book, I'm just like, where is your mother so I can thank her? Because,
Yeah,
I'm all about kids reading.
I agree.
So I read that. It was really good. I still need to go and purchase a copy for myself because I read it on Kindle Unlimited. Um, I've read a ton of smut that I'm not going to link. And then I started listening to Morning Star, which is the third in the Red Rising series.
Hmm.
But I hadn't listened to the first two in almost a year. So it started, and like I gave it an hour or so thinking I'll remember who these people are. I can't remember who they are. So I'm re listening to the series, which I think is good because I
Yeah,
know who some of the people are and what they're going to end up doing. So I pay more attention to how they act in the now. And so I'm re listening to Red
there you
Rising right now,
go. Okay.
um, which is a Pierce Brown book, I think. I linked it in the show notes. So I'll re listen to the whole series. Each one I think is like 15 or 16 hours long. So I'll finish the first one this week for sure. I don't know how far I'll get into Golden Sun. And that's a series based it's like a caste system sort of where it starts out as each caste of people is a color. Gold is the top tier, top echelon.
Hmm.
And then you've got your silvers and your grays and your greens and your yellows and your pinks. Pinks are solely for pleasure. Like, that's their whole life's
Is green
purpose.
healing?
Green is sciences. Blue is
Okay.
healing. No, yellow is healing. I can't remember what blue is. But it starts out as the reds, and they were sent to Mars generations ago to mine helium-3 because that's used in terraforming, and they're fed the story their whole lives that, you know, they're the pioneers of Mars, and as soon as they, you know, get enough of this to terraform Mars, they'll be able to come out, and they'll be like the first people on Mars, and they'll be honored, and they'll have, you know, home. And it turns out that there's been people living on Mars for hundreds of years. Sorry, my thing blinked, so I don't know what happened, whether or not we lost you or not, but you're back, so.
I had like a super delay on yours, so.
Oh. It came up and said there was an internet connection, but then it resolved it, so. Anyway, I was just talking about Red Rising.
I pretended to look interested when I couldn't hear you.
I find it's an interesting book, but it's
so they went
depressing.
to Mars, and they were lied to, and there were really people on Mars already?
Yes, and basically the Golds rule with an iron fist. Everybody else is there for their pleasure and to work, essentially, for them. And this one guy who is it's called a hell diver, but he mines for the helium-3 in this special thing. Anyway, he's like a teenager, but he's already married because they have short lives because they live under the surface. And anyway, it's a really interesting book. Science fiction for sure. Not for the faint of heart because there's a lot of.
Do they kill off major characters?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Okay. I don't.
It's a hard, like it's a harsh kind of science fiction, but it's an interesting one. So anyway, that's what I'm listening to.
Interesting. We have a bunch of events coming up. So I will be, this coming weekend, I will be at String Theory in
Chicago,
right outside Chicago, Illinois. I'll be teaching 2 classes and seeing lots of awesome people. I'm so jealous the people who were at Knitting Pipeline Retreat this weekend, by the way.
Oh, I didn't know it was this weekend.
It was this past weekend, and it looked like it was awesome. Like it always
are, I'm sure.
So I hate that I missed that, but it seemed like everyone had a good time. But I'll be at String Theory next week, and it's going to be awesome. I'll see some of those same people, and that's going to be tons of fun. I'm teaching a drop spindling class and make the best yarn choices, and that's a great shop anyways. It's loads of fun. So, and I get to spend time with my Becca, which is always awesome. So that's coming up. The following weekend, I'll be in Memphis. The week after that, we will be in Portland, Oregon. So that's going to be tons of fun. I'll see Leslie.
Yes, for the first time since July.
SSK? Yeah.
It's the longest I think we've gone so far.
It is the longest that I think we've ever gone without seeing each other. It's been a crazy fall and winter, yo.
It has. So yeah, we'll be in Portland. We should open a thread on our group about Portland so people can tell us where, you know, what's a place we have to eat or what's a shop we have to
go to
see.
Powell's. That's on my bucket list.
Powell's is the bookstore, right?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Totally on my bucket list.
You're really going to have to twist my arm to go into a bookstore.
I know. It's going to be terrible. I'd like to do Voodoo Donuts, too, because I've heard that.
I've heard good things, but I'm not willing to wait in an hour line for donuts, so we'll see.
You can go do something else.
That's fine. Now we'll be happy to pick your ass up later. So yeah, we'll be in Portland from the 16th until the 19th, which is a Wednesday through Saturday night. We leave Sunday, but we leave early.
And we fly through Chicago on the way so we can get popcorn.
Yeah, well, so Laura can get popcorn. That's all you. Of course, it's like 8 in the morning when we're there, so.
Does not matter. Popcorn's a year-round, day-long event.
Yeah, so there's that, and then the weekend after that, you have something else, right?
It's Easter.
Okay.
And Mom and Dad might be coming in town.
That'll be fun.
So that'll be Good Friday. I have off for Easter. And I'm trying to convince them to come in town. It depends on, my mom officiates lacrosse. It depends on if she's got games or not. Mainly because I want a birthday cake.
A 1, 2, 3 cake?
A 1, 2, 3, 4 cake,
1, 2, 3, 4 cake, sorry.
So, That might happen. And then the following week, I'll be at DFW, and DFW just put up or not classes, they just
Vendors.
put up their vendor
Mm-hmm.
list. So it's a very, very promising. I'm excited to see people like Ross Farms and Jinx and Mustache and some new people who I haven't met, but I've used their products before, like Goodies Unlimited and Tiff by Hand, and some really
Hmm.
Webs will be there, Signature will be there.
That'll be cool.
I need Signature to not be there. um, so it's going to be lots of fun. I am taking one class. I will be at the podcaster meetup. And it looks like at the reception Friday night as well. I'll be there all day Friday, all day Saturday, and I'm flying back home Sunday morning at 8 a.m. So it's kind of a whirlwind trip, but it's gonna be lots of fun. And it is my birthday week, even though it's after my birthday is over. So it's gonna be tons of fun. I can't think of a better way to spend my birthday.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I definitely
My
want to hit
birthday month.
DFW some point.
Yeah. So what else do we have going on? We have a Gleaner coupon code for 10%
Mm-hmm.
off, and also a Creative Bug code for a free 30-day trial.
Yep.
We have the Craft All the Things going on. I was just Kitchening as I was talking. I'm sure that's correct. So the first I'm going to show off the prizes because we haven't showed them off for a while, and we have a new one. So this is a stitch stopper from Gelby, and this section goes over your needles,
Mm-hmm.
and you can tighten it up or loosen it up, and it holds your work in place. And
Yeah.
it's got a lobster claw too, so you can use it as a stitch marker.
Or a zipper
So,
pull.
or a zipper pull, it's super cute.
Yeah.
So that is a stitch stopper from Gelby. Do you want to see my stitch stopper from Gelby?
Is it a book?
No,
Is it a sheep?
no,
Is it a fruit gem?
no. That would be awesome though.
Oh, it's Jack Skellington.
Jack,
Nice.
Jack the Pumpkin King. Yeah, I'm super excited about that. And this is my ornament that I got at Christmas time. Look at how cute this is. It's just the cutest stuff.
That's so sweet.
Um, Other prizes that we have. So the red stitch topper with the little sheep on it. We have a skein of yarn from Red Umbrella and dyed yarns, which is out of Arkansas. This is Victoria, her worsted weight. It's 218 yards of a superwash merino in the sangria colorway. I was getting ahead of myself. Sangria merino. Then we have another crafty girl in this gorgeous business time
Mm-hmm.
colorway. And this is her worsted, which is also superwash merino, and this is 215 yards. I knit a baby sweater out of this superwash merino a couple years ago that was very well received for my principal. I did one of the baby vertebrae out of the worsted weight
Yeah.
when I was at Leslie's house.
Mama
In
Linneman
the
did
candy,
one out
one
of
of the
another
candy
crafty girl.
colored ways. What now?
Mama Linneman did one too, didn't she? A
I
baby
think so.
vertebrae out of.
No, she did something for the girls. She knit my nieces both sweaters.
Okay.
And then from Hobbledehoy, we have Magical Realism.
So pretty.
And if you're not a spinner and you win these, I will totally bite the bullet
And spin
and
them for
spin these.
you.
So it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a superwash merino and silk, and they are just lovely. There's that little bits of blue. I love them. And I do love magical realism. So, Apothecary book to the contrary. Ah, guess what I just found?
Stash dash.
Oh man. So those are our prizes. I'll throw in the stash dash button as
Just
well.
cuz.
With the Gelby stitch stopper. So yeah, lots of cool stuff. The craft on all the things technique Cal is you just have to start a project after January 1st where you are utilizing a new to you technique and finish it by March 31st and enter by posting a picture in the finished object thread.
Yep.
And that's it for that. So
And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be knitting related. It can be
no, it can
sewing,
be
quilting,
It's a
cooking.
craft all the things, so it can be anything
Yeah.
crafty. So sewing, quilting, crochet. I did crochet.
Weaving, tatting.
Yeah.
You can
cross
learn how
stitch
to process
needlepoint.
fleece. That could be a craft.
Ooh, that would be a good one. I didn't even think about that. That's good.
We do want to
Dye yarn.
sincerely thank our Patreon supporters. Patreon is a way that you can support us per episode with as little as
Yep.
$1 per episode. We very much thank everyone who donates any amount. And once a month, we do a drawing for one skein of yarn for anyone who donates $2.50 an episode, and one skein of handspun for anyone that donates $3 an episode. So what we're going to do is I am ahead of the ball this time, and I've actually got stuff exported to sheets
Look
now, so
at
you guys don't
you.
have to sit there and wait for me to do this in a painful way. So first we're going to do yarn, and what I went through my stash and picked out is Into the World. This is on her BFL nylon
Ooh,
base,
that's
and this
pretty.
is the Vampires of Venice colorway. I got this, I want to say a couple of years ago, and then I ended up purchasing a bat with the same colorway, so I don't need both. I'm telling
Mm-hmm.
myself. So this is dyed in the palindrome method, so all the colors are together um, in
We'll
a
see her
circle.
at Maryland. So if
Hmm.
you do decide you need both, you can
Yes.
purchase another one.
So what I did was exported the list as of today, and we've got 53 people who donate $2.50 per episode. And what I'm going to do is pull up my random number generator, and ooh, I do not have to report for jury duty tomorrow. I got a text message. Woohoo!
I didn't know you had jury duty.
I
That's
did, yeah.
exciting.
This is the third time I've gotten notice since I've lived here. They are
I've
serious about their
never
jury
got
duty here in
jury
New
duty.
Jersey, so uh, but I still have to check again tomorrow afternoon to see if I have to go Tuesday. All right, so it's between the numbers 2 and 54 because the first line is a header line.
Mm-hmm.
You guys just have to trust me because I am not comfortable sharing who's donating what because that's
Yeah.
personal information. So between the numbers 2 and 54, and the number is 43. And 43 is Pakasha Younger, who I think won
Oh, she won before.
last
She won
month
2 months
or
ago.
yeah. So congratulations, you win another skein of yarn,
That's
Pakasha.
awesome.
I'm gonna highlight that so that I don't forget that that's who it is. Pakasha, I will send this to you this week, and congratulations. So for the hand spun, this is anyone who donates $3, and we've got 31 people who do that.
And it's gonna be this. I'm gonna spin this up.
Yes, so it's not. You are
It's gonna be
entering to
done.
win the dream of hand spun.
The
It will
dream of
be hand
handspun.
spun. It's just
No,
not
I'm
yet.
gonna work on it this week.
So I'm gonna refresh this so that it's blank again.
I'm gonna work on it tonight as I watch the Oscars. I'm gonna finish the socks and work on this.
All right, so it's gonna be between 2 and 32, I think. Yes, because the first line is a header line. Between 2 and 32,
Uh-huh.
and number 16, right in the middle. So
That's a good one. That's a good
16
number.
is Karen Dorula, who lives in Virginia.
Oh, cool.
So Karen, I'm going to send Laura your address because
Yep.
it's handy and Patreon keeps all that stuff. And we will send the prizes out to you guys. And again, thank you kindly. We do genuinely
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it. And I think over the course of the month, as we travel to see each other, and Laura's going to DFW, we might pick up a couple of extra things and just do some random drawings of everybody
that
in the
would be
Patreon
fun.
pool.
Because there are lots of yarn shops.
Yeah, and there's some people who,
so
just donate $1, or some people who donate, but they donate a different amount, and so it's not part of our structured dollars or whatever. So, I don't know. I think it'd be fun to do some extra prizes. So
I agree. I
we'll
think
do
that
that.
will be fun. We
But
should do another live podcast next month, but we'll have to talk about that more when
I
we
think
figure out my schedule.
that we need to each use our phones and stuff and record some snippets as we're on the road and around Portland, and then do, a special update for our Patreon people.
I can totally do that.
But we can figure that out more later.
Okay.
Because you're Kitchenering.
I'm done Kitchenering.
You are the bomb, lady.
Done.
All right. So I think that's it. Tomorrow is Leap Day, so happy Leap Day, everybody. And
It comes, what, every 4 years?
every 4 years. Yep.
That's pretty cool.
So you guys have a lovely week, and we will see you again probably Monday of next week.
Yep.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.